Hi guys, I'm here at the library. Shh, I shouldn't be talking loud, but you know me, I love to talk. So I'm here and I'm talking to Laura. Laura is a mother of a young lady who experienced several concussions, and she has a story about neuroinflammation that really and truly breaks down the long-term commitment to it and how things can get better. So once again, I'm going to forward you to Laura, and she's someone who actually traveled the nation to help her daughter with neuroinflammation.
Hi. My daughter had a second and third concussion when she was a freshman in high school. And after the third concussion, she lost her memory for about a year and a half. And so they told me she would be better in 6 weeks. She wasn't better. 6 months, she wasn't better. A year later, she wasn't better. So at that year point, I'd been to several neurologists, tried lots of different things. Nothing had seemed to be working. So I started calling all around the country. I called LA, I called New York, Chapel Hill. I tried lots of different places. No one seemed to have an answer for me, except I found a clinic in New York at the University of Buffalo where there was a PhD and an MD working together to develop concussion therapies for football players. And so they said I could come up, bring my daughter, and so what they did is they put her on a treadmill, hooked her up to EKG, and they figured out a threshold for her so she could exercise to get better. And so we started doing that at the beginning of the summer. By the end of the summer, she was improved, and her memory started coming back the following March. So all of a sudden one day we realized she was memorizing a 5-minute speech where she could not have done that before. So that was like the beginning point of her memory coming back. So anyways, we continued to try different things to try to get her to improve all the way through high school. She struggled with it. Headaches, her concussion symptoms continued. Things like that. She was nauseous all the time. But anyways, she had a lot of pain that would come and go. But after she graduated from high school that summer, her body changed to where all her nerves were turned on for pain instead of turned off for pain. And so she basically just curled up in a little ball. And so I knew I had to do something. So fortunately, her pediatrician had seen this one other time, and she knew what it was. And so it was chronic regional pain syndrome. And so they told me there were 4 clinics in the country. And so I called all those 4 clinics, plus I called the Mayo Clinic, trying to find a therapy for her. And after talking to all of them, I ended up going all the way across the country to Oregon, to Portland, and put her in a therapy program there where she had 12 different people working with her at the hospital. She was there for a month, and she did 5 hours a day of physical therapy, and she had to start crawling on the floor because she couldn't even hardly walk because all of her nerves were turned on for pain. So anytime she moved anything, it hurt. And so they started by having her crawl, and then they had her do what they called animal exercises, which were just things like crawling up on a chair, crawling off the chair. Eventually she was playing basketball. They taught her how to ride a bicycle around the hospital. She had not been able to do that because she had no balance from being hit in the head. Anyways, she was there for a month. When she left, she finally really improved. It was amazing, actually. She was running like 16 flights of stairs when we left. She did 2 hours on the treadmill. She had rode the bike around the park outside the hospital. And they sent her away with a 2-hour-a-day exercise program. And if she was to have pain start back again, then she was to increase that 2 hours a day. So it was a big commitment on her part. And it's now been about 12 years, and she still has some symptoms now and then. She still gets migraines, but her pain is much improved. So she can function again and have a life again.
So let me ask you something. Was she able to tell you about her pain? Is that how you were able to figure it out, or how did you know that she was in pain?
Oh, you could see it on her face. You could see her eyes when the pain would start. Her eyes would just like get glassy, and She was a mallet player, so she played with the marching band in high school, and when her pain got really bad, it was especially bad in her extremities, so her hands and her feet would just kind of lock up, and so she couldn't even like hold her mallet stick. She couldn't hold a pencil. You knew she was in pain. So.
Wow. And what about weather and other sensory things? Are there certain things that triggered it and made it worse?
Yeah, the weather, when storm systems come through, her migraines are is huge, causing her to have headaches. Yeah.
Okay. What about light or any other things? Light, sound?
Smells, actually, like when she was in high school, cleaning fluids, like they use like an orange oil or something, or kids wearing lots of like
Perfume?
aftershave, whatever, it would just like send her. In fact, one of the therapies they did when she was in the hospital is they took her to places like, what's that scented candle place in the mall,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd make her stay in there and smell that, and they made her jump on a trampoline too because that just made her so nauseous. So anything that was a trigger, they made her do it until she kind of became used to it, and that seemed to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I always hear is people creating adaptive environments, but for individuals with different kinds of impairments. But my whole thing is if you create an adaptive environment and then the program is over and you put them back out into the real world,
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It's so hard and they
Yeah.
lose it. And that's
Yeah.
what they're finding is a lot of kids with autism are losing the benefits gained because when they leave that clinical environment,
Yes.
they're
Too
back.
many challenges. Yeah.
Yeah. So, wow. Strong mother, powerful story, great explanation of what exactly, how impactful neural inflammation can be, concussions, etc., and that there is hope. There is a lot of hope. Thank you so much for everything, Laura, and wishing the best for your daughter. Take care.